Shout out to Rochelle. Thank you for donating another $50 to my PayPal. Like, holy shit, you did not have to do that. Hell yeah. Now, if you want a shout out, you know how it is. PayPal, Cash App, let's go. Video response. Oh boy. So I've been meaning to do a video response to one of Sydney Watson's newer videos, but lately they're just so depressing. I don't even want to respond to them. No offense to Sydney, but this one, yeah. Apparently, white women crying is dangerous now. That is the video. And before we get started, fuck racism. I'm gonna drink some water real quick, get hydrated, and then we'll let the fun begin. I don't give a fuck if it's spelled wrong, to be honest. If you're gonna be a grammar Nazi, you can get hidden from my channel. Oh boy.
You know, it's funny. According to y'all, you aren't your ancestors, even though y'all using their playbook, their strategies, their techniques. You cry like them, you lie like them, you attempt to remove yourselves from them in order to not be held responsible for the atrocities they committed in the past, which is totally fair and understandable. However, y'all don't like to be held accountable for the shit that you do today. Chelsea and Savannah just gave us a crash course on exactly how lethal and dangerous white women could be, whether they decide to take the offensive or the defensive position against a person of color.
Well, here we go again. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, because we're on the hell gondola, today's video is sponsored by Established Titles. Now, it really has been a while since we've taken a trip into anti-white rhetoric land, and I would say that's largely because...
Speaking as a white person, I check my privilege, and as someone who's white, autistic, straight, heterosexual, of age, male, I have privilege, and I fucking hate it. I didn't ask for the privilege, and I certainly keep a cool head about it. However, I'm sick and tired of white stereotypes being thrown in my fucking face. If you were to do this to anyone else, you'd be called some kind of asshole. Like, if you were to throw the stereotypes of anyone else into anyone else's face, it'd be like, oh, you're a sexist, racist, phobic-ist, whatever.
The past few years have occupied people's attention with injections and illness and government overreach. Not that I blame anyone for that at all. It's been a weird time. Actually, I do blame our politicians, and for them, I have a large amount of contempt. But somewhere in amongst all of the new medical expertise a lot of people have acquired recently, there continues to be a discussion about white people bad. Although I will admit that the constant onslaught of media...
And the problem with this is, you cannot say, hey, could you stop throwing my ancestors crap in my face? I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Grab a time machine and tell them to knock it the fuck off? Like, dude. Without someone being like, oh my God. So, like, if you don't check your privilege, you're a racist. If you check it and try to fight for the cause, you get told this is not your cause to fight. So it's like, you know, not all white people are bad. We just not do this. If you were to throw the stereotypes of anyone else in their face, they would call you an asshole. That is just a fact. So apparently, long story short, white women crying is seen as manipulative and racist. That's basically what this is. This whole video.
Coverage about white supremacy has died down a little bit. Although that being said, it doesn't stop this kind of crap cropping up on my Twitter feed. Apparently, if you're a white person committed to racial justice and you still have a relationship with most of your family, you're a big old baddie. And our friend Jessica...
Wait. So Jessica Mason Piccolo at Hedge Mommy, whatever the hell it's called, says, honestly, if you're a white person who says they're committed to racial justice and you're in good standing with most of your family, I have questions for you, and they are definitely pointed. I'm so tired of being assumed. I'm associated with a lot of white people just because of the color of my skin. This is the bitch about it. I think, you know, you're guilty by association because of the assholes who ruin it for you, and that's pretty much true for both genders and all races or all four genders. Yes, because we already know there are four genders: male, female, trans, hermaphrodite. Non-binary doesn't count because they don't identify as a gender.
Has questions. Where do these people even come?
And you can't ask questions without someone getting offended. Because, you know, it's 2022, everyone be offended
With this. Now, at this point, I assume most of you know that TikTok is a breeding ground for all sorts of rhetoric and
Oh, yeah, because if you have a TikTok, you automatically are entitled to an opinion, right? No.
ideas. So, admittedly, I wasn't too shocked to find out that the anti-racist part of TikTok concerns itself with crap like this.
White women feel safe with black men, not only because of the hypermasculinity that they believe black men exhibit, but because of the lightness and power that holds over black men. And this is why white women love their black sons and hate their black daughters. Black sons give you access to the patriarchy, they give you power, whereas black daughters don't.
These people
who come off as the biggest anti-racists are secretly the biggest racists. Like, if you have to look, this is called, what's it called? Hold up. It's called race baiting, and it sprays all over everybody. Watch this. Oh God, oh God, oh God. KFC has multiracial people eating their chicken. That's racist. It's the truth. If you're on a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, keep in mind that fried chicken is universally loved across the world, across many cultures. It's not just white people and black people and Mexicans, and everyone likes fried chicken, dude. Unless you're a vegan. Don't want to offend those people. So, like, we live in a society, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you have a KFC commercial featuring all colors of the rainbow, there are people out there who will say it's racist because you feature black folks in that commercial, when the commercial is saying everybody loves our chicken, and people misread that, right? But if they didn't, if they were not featured in that commercial, they'd still be a racist. And it's like, can we just stop with the race baiting? Race baiting. Okay.
everything flam flam. But I've seen this kind of commentary before, as I'm sure many of you have. This is
when Sydney Watson uploads a new video. Okay, just kidding.
not new. What was new to me, however, was finding out that a huge portion of the internet concerns itself.
Because here's the thing of it. Most people who intentionally look for a reason to be pissed off are secretly pissed off because they themselves are like that. That is the bitch about PC culture, is that, yes, a little bit of political correctness goes a long way. But when you're so politically correct that it comes off as you being secretly the biggest sexist, racist, whatever, you have to be offended. And it's like, do people secretly enjoy being offended? Because me personally, I don't like being offended. I don't like it one bit.
Concept that white women tears are dangerous. Actually, just white people crying in general. I guess it's kind of like you shed a tear, you kill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one would argue that crying in general can be dangerous in the sense of it gets people to react a certain way. It doesn't necessarily have to pertain to the color of your skin.
Queer. Actually, no. Apparently, gay people crying is still a problem.
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to ask y'all that do you comprehend that this
You kill a queer. Actually, no. Apparently, gay people crying is still a problem.
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to ask y'all that do you comprehend that this is not exclusive to women? White gay men also do this all the time.
How white women use strategic tears to silence women of color. Oh, for the love of fucking God. It's just everyone whining and complaining, and we're not allowed to have feelings, and we're also supposed to be offended by everything. And it's so goddamn annoying.
You know that.
And like last time I checked, like I don't care what color your skin is, dude, dudette, they, them, non-binary, however you identify, fuck sickos.
Anyway,
Like,
I said, the idea that white women weaponize their tears and then use them as ammunition.
one could argue that women everywhere weaponize that shit, and then it doesn't have to be white. Just think about it. If you're a good guy and you hear a woman crying, your first instinct is to help her, to coddle her, to make her feel special, to tell her it's going to be all right. You know, women crying is just like, for me personally, it's horrible. You know, it makes me sad. It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry with them, especially when you know, shit gets sad. Yeah.
Other people in a multitude of situations is a fairly widespread idea. In my travels of the internet, I found countless hashtags with videos and millions of views, most of them arguing the same point.
Dear white women, if you want to be able to show your emotions, to express your sadness and your other shadow emotions publicly and authentically, and be taken seriously, you will need to address how you and your foremothers, historically and in the modern day, have misused your tears, your sadness, and shadow emotions to hurt and damage people of color, men, women, children, people of color.
One can argue, and I'm not trying to be a dick, that yes, they have used their emotions in this whole white versus black BS. It's 2022. We had a black president. Okay, he was half black, but still. Okay, we live in a society. If you live in the United States of America, women can run for president now. That was completely unheard of in 1950. So, while it's good to acknowledge that, yes, I have white privilege, and I'm sorry that my ancestors were the biggest racist cunts to you people, and what have you, at the same time, could you stop shoving it in my fucking face? Because it makes me feel like shit because I can't do nothing to fucking change it except be a good person myself. And there you go. Now, I got friends that are black. I got friends that are LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, seriously? The year was 2099. White people have been oppressed for centuries, and now they're sick of it. Too far? On the real note, though, fuck racism and sexism, man. Like, I don't, no, dude. Mm-mm. And like, if you want to like end the segregation of like, you know, the whole black versus white, everyone just fighting, okay, then what needs to happen is that y'all need to learn to forgive but never forget. And white people need to recognize their privilege, historically speaking, and also learn that, hey, you know what? It's not so bad. Because I'm not going to complain about it, to be truthful with you, because if, you know, until I see a black cop spraying me with a fucking fire hose because he don't like the color of my skin, then I've got nothing to complain about.
Black, brown, and indigenous people.
Flam Flam! Remember our good friend Robin DiAngelo who wrote White Fragility? Well, apparently there's an entire chapter dedicated to white women tears.
Get a lot.
There are also countless.
Because one would argue that women are good at manipulating society just by being emotional, because one, they get away with it, and two, they're overly coddled in our society. Which leads a lot of women to get pissed off and go, well, I don't need your help. I don't need you to call me. And it's like, yeah, well, that's just how it is, isn't it? Because, like, women get sick and tired of being told they have privilege, too. And to a degree, I'm not going to say anything too bad here, but to a degree, people, depending on the situation, have privilege and oppression. They exist like water and fire. Okay, and I wish we could just have like a chill, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. You know, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Because you can't give everyone privilege. Some people just, fuck sickos.
Stories and articles across the internet, some even
Most dangerous person in America is the white woman.
major outlets discussing this topic.
Because she cried some crocodile tears. That's another good name for white tears, but they're crocodile tears who come from white women, because women who look like me and you, a bit.
And speaking of crocodiles, nice green hair.
Fallopian descent, our tears are lethal to Black, brown, and indigenous peoples because we weaponize our emotions against them, because we also have absolutely no power in a male-dominated patriarchy.
Okay, so now we're going from blaming women for weaponizing their tears to blaming men because, you know, men are bad too. It's just like, dude, it's the truth. Like, we live in a fucking society where women are pressured to have sex, and as soon as they give it, they're slut shamed. And we live in a society where dudes are pressured to get it. See what I'm saying? Women are pressured to give it, and as soon as they give it, they're slut shamed. And men are pressured in our society to get it. They try to get it, they get simp shamed, and as soon as they do get it, they're praised for it. Meantime, it's like, okay, stop blaming men and white people for everything. God damn it! Like, society and Mother Nature coincide with like genetics and like just the times, and that's just a whole other video. But
we live in a society that was built at the behest of white men on the backs of Black, brown, and indigenous people.
I think I would be.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, when the humans first came to this planet, it was on one giant continent. I mean, geologically speaking.
More angry about this if I didn't feel like I've been given an intellectual lobotomy. Don't even try to beam me up anymore, Scotty. I just want the needle in my brain. Post-edit Sydney here. I forgot to tell you guys that you're already on the Hell Gondola, so don't worry about boarding. You're already here. You can't leave. But let's hear from today's sponsor, Established Titles, because I say so. All right, repeat after me. Okay, my life has meaning. My life has meaning. But it would have more meaning, but it would have more meaning if I was a lord or lady. Wait, what? You heard me?
Now, before you enjoy this amazing Sydney Watson video, my name's Jeremy. My YouTube channel is called The Quartering, and we
Peasant, if you haven't heard, life has a lot more meaning when you go to Established Titles and get yourself a square foot of land in Scotland. This lets you participate in a historic Scottish custom where landowners can call themselves Lord or Lady. Each piece has its own unique plot number on one of their privately owned Scottish estates. I'm not saying all of that. Established Titles makes a great gift, and in addition to that, it can be used on plane tickets, credit cards, even dating profiles. And for every order placed, Established Titles promises to plant a tree to preserve Scotland's woodlands and biodiversity. And as you well know, the Heracles. So if you too want a fancy certificate, click the link in the description to check out Established Titles. They also told me that the first 200 people to buy a title pack using my link will effectively have a plot that is walking distance to my plot. So we'll all be next to each other. We can have a kingdom. So use code Sydney for 10% off any purchase. Now, a starting place for this conversation comes from a TikTok trend called Turn It Off that started in mid-2021. The clips are effectively people crying to...
So let me get this straight. When you tell women to stop being so emotional, they get pissed off. But then when you tell them that's because they're racist, then now they have to stop. It's like, yeah, that's race baiting.
That tells them to turn it off, and then
this whole all white people are racist, all men are sexist, sex crazed pigs. I'm sick and tired of it, dude.
They stop crying.
turn it off.
In order to make this video, I watched a lot of these TikToks, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And many of the ones that I watched are moms basically saying that they need to keep it together when their kids are around, or doctors and other people in the medical field.
In like some situations, yeah, dude, you gotta be professional, and it sucks if you're like a veterinarian or a doctor to humans, you know. I cannot begin to imagine. Or like when your kids are sad, or when your girlfriend's sad, or when your boyfriend's sad, whatever. You got to keep it together because you feel like, you know, humans should be allowed to experience emotions. You know, it's good to express yourself in a healthy way. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of sitting there balling it up, like, let it out. Slam something tasty and just let it go.
It together when they're around patients and so on and so forth. But of course, it's 2022 and we got to make it about racism.
It off.
Not everything's racist, not everything's sexist, not everything's LGBTQ plus phobic. So can we just stop treating like, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that I'm being offended by everyone being offended by everything has to mean that I'm like the world's biggest fucking hypocrite, but at least I care. Fuck sickos.
Why are some people so tone deaf? Like, this is not a trend. Some people actually do this to weaponize their tears against Black people and people of color. Whenever they don't get their way, when someone tells them something that they did is racist, or whenever they just feel like being a Karen that day.
And if you're trying to argue with these people or like offer a mature and fair counterpoint, people look at you like, watch it. Cobra, you're wider than Casper's bare ass.
This trend,
one could call you weaponizing history against us because not all white people are like that. Oh, Cobra said too much. Oh, I'm sorry, that was too far. At the same time, that was kind of too far, but fair. Because it's 2022, dude. You don't see, like, the only slaves you see in 2022 are the assholes who are addicted to fucking social media. Dude, put the phone down for like 5 fucking seconds. Now I got to see what so and so posted on their gram, man. Their gram? Oh, you mean their Instagram? Yeah, man, their Insta. What? Did you not say it like that? Why? Why are you doing it here now? Well, Target didn't have good Wi-Fi at Target. It's called Target. God, people like that, you know, it's just like some white suburban soccer mom trying to sound hip and modern. Like, oh my God, you want to go to Target and get a slice of za? It's like, English, motherfucker, do you speak it? What she was saying is, do you want to go to Target's and get some pizza? But they can't just say the whole word because, oh my God, that takes like 5 extra seconds that you just don't have right now. It's the TikTok mentality of our society. It's like, not trying to sound like an old curmudgeonist fart on YouTube, but back in my day, people could watch a 10-minute video and be just content. But now they want that video fix instantly. So people's attention span is
is stupid.
What you just watched is a clip of something called the Turn It Off Challenge, the sound for which currently has 75,900 videos. And it's a prime example of the danger of white woman tears. One Twitter user wrote, "White women have historically used their tears and their false victimhood to accuse and vilify people of color, particularly those from the Black community. This trend is..."
I don't think it's necessarily the tears. I think it's just the fact that people are racist dickheads. And yes, 2022, shockingly, you're going to encounter people who are still racist, and it's sad. And it'd be nice if we could just, not do the whole racist, sexist thing and just, hey, as long as you're not a sick fuck, who gives a shit, right? That's just my attitude towards people in general. But what do I know? I'm just some random autistic YouTuber dude. And it's after 5 o'clock, so yeah. Bottoms up.
The ability to falsify emotions and manipulate others. This has a dangerous history.
So what happens, do you think, and I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just trying to explain things that make sense in a way without being like coming off a certain way, like when a bunch of white people who aren't racist are being attacked for being racist, what's the word I'm looking for? Segregation? That's the word. Yes, it is. They're going to feel segregated. Like, okay, I'm sorry that my great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother were a dick to you. Like, what do you want me to fucking do? Wave a magic wand and be like, hey, racism and sexism, Avada bitch. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And all that does is create more uncomfortable tension amongst the genders and the races, and it's fucking stupid.
My hair out. Many users on the old TikTok think this trend is dangerous because it exemplifies how us terrible white women can use our emotions to manipulate situations.
And like, I'm sick and tired of people telling men you can't cry because that makes you a pussy, and telling women you can't cry because you're probably on your period or some dumb shit. And it's like, dude, it depends on the intent of the emotion. You know, that's what I'm getting at, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are gonna feel like crying because it's like, dude, I'm one of the nicest white guys you'd ever meet. I fucking hate racism and sexism more than I hate my trolls. And yet, I'm getting labeled as a racist because of the color of my skin. And I'll say it again. This is true for black people too. They don't like having the stereotypes of blacks thrown in their face. And if you do that, and especially because you're white on top of it, they will fucking be like, you are a racist cracker. So it's like, okay, rubber glue back to you. It sounds immature and stupid. So instead, I'm going to say, do unto others as you'd have done to you. If you wouldn't want white people throwing their stereotypes in your fucking face, why do it to them? Because the argument is universally the same across all platforms in that regard. Not all of us are like that. Fucking
Make them harmful for other people. No, seriously, lobotomize me. They often point to historical events to justify this position. The most common one that you'll hear is about Emmett Till. He was a 14-year-old boy back in 1955 who whispered.
What was the date of that? 1955. Oh, right. When racism was just commonly accepted. You could also smoke indoors and nobody gave a shit. Sir, would you like a pack of Lucky Strikes with that triple bacon cheeseburger? Yes, and bring me some coffee while you're at it.
At a white woman named Caroline Bryant, who then told everybody that he'd manhandled her and been inappropriate with her.
Oh, so she allegedly pulled an Amber Heard is what you're telling me. Gotcha. That's basically what happened. And people are still arguing about that, both of those families to this day. And what they did to this dude in response was horrible. Well, I mean, if he was guilty of it, then like, yeah, you know, justice served. But if he was not guilty of it, then holy fucking shit. And you know what I'm saying? We live in a fucking society where it's like people are so quick to point out racist shit that it's like it makes them look like the bigger racist, to be honest. You know, hypothetical, if some shit goes down and the person just happens to be black, now you're going to be afraid to. Can we get a description of the assailant? And to be fair, there are like the whole like crime and shit. That's a multitude of races. Okay, it doesn't necessarily pertain to one race. People commit crime. It doesn't pertain to gender or race. And our society makes it all about that, and it's so goddamn frustrating. Big thank you to those of you who ordered the wands from Cobra Craft Handmade Wands. I'll be getting those in the mail either tomorrow or the next day. That's what's up.
and then he was subsequently mutilated and lynched. The
dude was lynched and mutilated. So, dude.
Side of the issue has claimed one thing all this time, whereas Till's family has claimed something else, and there's an ongoing argument between the.
Side note, I love this Aussie shirt. My fans sent me a bunch of these, and I'm just like, yeah. Speaking of Ozzy Osbourne, when will all this anger, hate, and bigotry be gone? I'm just a dreamer. You know what I'm saying? Dreamer is a good song to quote for this, because without each other's help, there ain't no hope for us. And if you're so focused on pointing out sexism and racism instead of working to end that shit and like help each other out, then society truly has no fucking hope. You're gonna be sitting there with your head up your own ass, fucking texting the person next to you, yeah, fuck you, and they text you back, yeah, fuck you. Oh, this person supports abortion rights. Well, this person doesn't. So then now you're going to get into this heated debate. I support abortion rights and gun rights. Yep.
Families to this day. Realistically, what happened to Emmett Till was awful. And if you take race out of the equation, if somebody lies, which a lot of people think Caroline Bryant did in this case, and that leads to another person being murdered, dying, or even incarcerated, that's wrong. Considering
exactly my point. If she lied about that crap, then an innocent man went to jail. And rightfully so. People of color are fucking sick of it. They've been putting up with this shit for fucking 500 plus goddamn years. That's 500 plus goddamn years of the white man. So yes, this is why I'm not gonna like bitch about, like I'll make it a point that not all white people are like that, but I'm not, at the same time, I'm not gonna complain that I'm being treated like that, because that's just, you know, my privilege. Like, what can you do, dude? Like, and I hate to use this example, but when I was doing the King Cobra JFS, now it's a party documentary. The one thing I regret with that documentary is that my old apartment wasn't a lot cleaner, but I digress. When I was at Buffalo Wild Wings, I went in to use the bathroom, and the men's restroom was crowded. The urinal was out of order. There were a bunch of people just standing around rapping. You know, and like this tall, scrawny black motherfucker looking at me like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a pretty good rapper, but I didn't just insert myself and start busting flows. They would have been like, look at the autistic Eminem over here. Chicka, 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 King Cobra. And I wasn't being disrespectful. They were all beatboxing, you know, just kind of waiting patiently to use the pisser, nodding my head to the beat. And then I step in to use the bathroom stall and lock the door. And as I'm taking a piss, they take a wet toilet paper and they throw it over into the stall. And they're like, Dr. King Cobra's a fucking racist. And I was like,